Hello and welcome to ETTO's Catch Up. I'm Will.
I'm Josh.
Oh, and on today's show, the only show, it's not so Baghdad.
Damn it, that got me. And games aren't art, they're products.
Oh, it's true.
That has nothing to do with my news. I just heard that quote earlier today. That is from Shigeru Miyamoto.
Wow.
Mr. Video Games himself does not believe that games are art, they are products.
I mean,
or at least he doesn't believe that his games are art.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say that's fair. They're not really.
He's like, I'm a game designer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's been making coloring books for the last, 20 years, so,
It's true.
He's letting other people make the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just very funny that, Mr. Video Games himself has come out and just been like, they're not art. Everybody shut up.
Tell you that, Naughty Dog fans.
It's great.
You're all wrong. And so are we.
We're just wrong.
We're always wrong.
We're just wrong. How have you been wrong this week, Will?
I've been wronged by by people curbing me at a premiere, but not all of them. Some of them were fine. I went and saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Movie titles are too long. They're like getting like video game names now. They're just getting too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Too much name. Too much movie. That movie was 3 hours long and fucking felt it.
Ooh.
We'll talk about it later. But I went there because Sam bought tickets. A really cool thing that a lot of premieres are doing now, where you can just buy tickets to go, which is fun. It happened for Babylon, happened for this, happened for Indie, although that was kind of more of an awards show night. But yeah, this one was good. Obviously, a lot of the stars came. Not all of them. They're kind of doing a world tour. Some of them are sticking into different countries and stuff. But it was Tom Cruise, Kristen McQuarrie, the director, Hayley Atwell, the actress,
Sick.
who's in the film. Who else was there? And Pom Klementieff, who plays Mantis in Guardians and stuff. So
Sick.
She was also there.
They were in Australia?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you meet them?
So it was near them. I didn't get a photo with Hayley. I'd already paid for a photo with Hayley Atwell. I was like,
this is true.
I don't do that again.
Been there, done that.
Let other people have their moments. Pom Klementieff is a very interesting human, very quiet human, and she did a little bit of it, but you could see she was getting a bit overwhelmed, so she kind of broke off and did press, and that was it, which was fine. I was a bit sad, but also it is a very stressful thing, just having thousands of people scream your name.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I was telling Max about your Simon Pegg meeting.
Yes, that was the other one. I forgot he was there again.
Yeah. We literally just spoke about it before the podcast started.
Yep.
I was telling Maxine about your meeting with him, and that he's very he's also quite overwhelmed in the video. Because he's obviously just like, where is it? Hey, and then he's just moving on. Yeah. And he can hear you just
Because I intended it to be...
It's the most chaotic video.
It's great. It's exactly the energy he has in his films. But yeah, here's one. I intended it to be like the Margot Robbie one, that I would give him my phone. But I said it's on video, intending hold the phone and photo and give it back, but he took it as I want to record a video, and so that's why he just looked at the camera and made noises and then moved on. Which is a very fun moment. There's some stills in there, but he was great. I don't particularly love Tom Cruise as a person, but as a movie star, it's undeniable that he's very cool. And so I was keen to get a photo or a signature or something from him. The setup was kind of like cast and stuff would arrive from 3:30. And by 7, they're kind of out. I think Tom Cruise came out at 3 and just was like he took maybe 4 hours to get down the line that we're on, because he would just stand there and talk and
oh my goodness.
It was exhausting for us, but lovely, because he was just there for people, which was really cool. He also had the security kind of moving through the barrier, the barricade stuff, and they were like, just hold your phone up. Just turn around and hold your phone up. And I was like, because he'll be in frame and you can just take a shot and that's fine. But it was no, he would literally be signing something, look up and see the camera. Once he'd finished signed it, would stand back, look at the camera, smile at the specific phone, and then be like, good, cool, all right, I'll move on. And so he was doing it no matter who, or there were people, three people back doing it, and he would still stop and try and find their camera and get in a phone, and it was...
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because, in yours, I'm like...
Yeah.
When you posted the photo, I was shocked that he was looking at your phone.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
comparison to all the people that I could also see in the shot.
Totally. In front of me.
That makes a lot of sense because he's like trying to personalize every freaking
Totally.
photo.
He was so
Like,
good. Like
That's the sort of guy you want, like the sort of celebrity you want to meet.
it's what we think we would
Really
be
lovely.
like. Like we would just be there for everyone.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
you have been.
Yeah, that's true. I try to
in
be
your
that.
in
Yeah.
your like little bits, like you've gotten up from eating lunch,
Yeah.
to go take photos with a small child that recognizes you from Spawn
From
Point.
Spawn Point. I mean, usually they're terrible supernova hot dogs or something. So it's like I can leave that alone.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll be the same when I get back.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's like McDonald's.
yeah, never great.
Be the same in a few days.
But it's good. There was also Tom Cruise's 61st birthday on that day as well. And so when they got all the cast
right.
and crew out before the movie, Simon Pegg then came out with like a little birthday cake and we all sung happy birthday to Tom Cruise.
So sweet.
Which was really cool.
Amazing.
So real special premiere and like a genuine like you know, he I think he's pretty genuine. And the way that he was like, this is a sick birthday, I'm like, it is. And it's cool that we're all involved with it, Tom.
Yeah. 61st, you said?
Yes. Yeah.
That's an old man.
It is.
That's crazy.
61 isn't anything anymore. It's weird. It's
No.
like Harrison Ford just did an Indiana Jones movie at 80 and you're like, yeah, I mean, he doesn't look that old.
It's fine, I guess.
80?
Yeah, that's crazy.
People die at 80. That was my week. Did you meet any Tom Cruises?
I didn't meet any Tom Cruises, unfortunately. Especially not in the nightclub that I went to. I went to a nightclub last Saturday.
Why?
Good question. Very good question.
You're old. You're almost dead.
I know. But the people that I went to the nightclub for, even older.
That's
so I
right.
went for Max's auntie's Bucks Hex
Hex
Hens
night, yeah.
night thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that I've said Hex Night to, no one knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, weird.
No one's ever heard of that, apparently. So combined Bucks Hens.
Yep.
And yeah, it was basically just family and a couple of friends for each of the, her auntie and her future uncle, I guess.
Yep.
So they're, probably mid-50s, both
Yep.
of them. And their choice was to go to a
nightclub.
nightclub. And not like a cool nightclub in
Yeah.
the city. One out east. Other than us, there was maybe 10 people there at the time that we arrived, which
Yeah.
was, after 9:30. So it's early in the night, but it's also late enough that you would expect people to be there.
Yeah.
It got busier by the time it hit like midnight.
Yeah, of course, Melbourne.
But it was cool. The music was more focused around like 90s stuff. So they're sort of danceified, like modern danceified 90s music. And, we got up and danced when we felt the need, when there was good music playing. Because it's sort of, it mixed between just like nothing, like modern music.
Yeah.
And then some like fun like songs that we all knew.
Yeah.
Or that the bride-to-be knew in particular and was like, yes, this is my song.
Yeah.
We'd all go up and dance with her.
Yep.
Do I recommend nightclubs? No.
No.
Don't bother. It's fine. It's
I
fine.
know
Don't
people
worry
that
about it.
love nightclubs that don't recommend nightclubs.
It's
Don't
true.
go.
Yeah, don't bother. Anything else exciting that I have to talk about will be in the Rex Egg.
Yeah, cool. All right.
So it'll come up later. So let's are we done? We jump in the news?
Let's get to the news.
No. You got some boob.
All over me.
That was amazing. Glad we caught that on camera.
That was so much spray.
I also didn't hear it either.
Yeah, amazing. It's, like,
It was just silence.
it's all on my glasses. Look at that boob on my glasses.
Very nice. So for audio listeners that have no idea what's happening after a minute after this event happened, Will just cracked open a
boob
can of bubbly or boobly or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Michael Bublé's bubbly...
Sparkling water.
What is it? Like sparkling water?
Yeah. It's all right. I don't like sparkling water, but I think there's a perfect level of taste in this one.
Nice.
I enjoyed this. I
'cause
enjoyed the lime one as well. It's nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because they can so often just taste like soda water. It's been lightly flavored.
Yep. I love me some boob water. I also love me some Baghdad. Because obviously in October we're heading to Baghdad and Assassin's Creed Mirage.
I thought you were saying we were heading there.
Yeah, we go.
Where are we going? We're going on tour.
Obviously, Josh and I, Josh goes away and then he goes to PAX and then we go to Baghdad.
Yeah, that's it.
That's obviously happening.
It's a big 2 months.
It's a big 2 months, but in digital space. We go to Baghdad and Assassin's Creed Mirage, and Ubisoft announced that there is a new feature, which I am surprised isn't in the other games. I swear it is, but it mustn't be because they're excited to tell us about it. So I assume it's not been in the other ones. It's called History of Baghdad, which will be an integrated part of the game in the codex and database that, like, as you go through the game, you collect objects and learn historical context about Baghdad during that time. So you'll, obviously, you're set in a time period, so why not learn extra information? It'll be split up as like economy, belief in daily life, government, exciting, art and science, and court life.
Oh, how exciting! Ooh. This does actually, in a form, exist in other Assassin's Creed games. So there are ones. I didn't hear about it in Valhalla, but I definitely remember Origins and Odyssey.
Yes.
They had modes of the game that you could go into where there was no enemies.
Yep.
But you could go around and explore, and there was like historical stuff in it.
Yes.
And, like you could literally use it for schools.
Yeah, it was a big thing. And they had like Egypt a VR component and stuff as well.
Yeah. This sounds a little different, kind of.
It's more integrated in the game, I guess. Like the game itself. Which I like the sound of. They said they've employed historian Dr. Raphael Wayland, who was given the freedom to curate most of the content that would appear in the Codex feature, and also teamed up with Middle East history experts and international museums with incredible exhibits of Islamic art that they've obviously photo scanned in and will be present in the game, which is very exciting. I just like the idea of Assassin's Creed being tighter to history, because I feel like Valhalla is obviously very like, I think these things happened. Like, it doesn't feel as, whatever, and stuff like that. Whereas, the first 4 felt very history. And so I like that they're leaning back into that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's one thing that I loved about, like, a lot of the earlier games, even up to, like, Odyssey and stuff.
Yeah.
There was so many, there was, like, they would refer to someone as like the butcher.
Yep.
And then and they're killing people, but they're often doing it for mystical purposes in the games. But when you look them up, they were literally like doctors at the time that were performing like ancient style lobotomies.
Yeah.
And things like that. And they were sort of like almost a little bit mad scientist doctor-y people of the time. But it's like that was a thing. They existed and they did do pretty horrific things in hindsight now. So yeah, I've always loved that part of Assassin's Creed, that there's actual history in it.
Yeah.
So just mixed in and made more dramatic.
Yeah. It's cool. So can you see more of it? I mean, I only took it because there's not much news, and I liked when I wrote Not So Baghdad. So that's why that's a news point for
very good. That is very good. Something else that is a news point for this week, that's a terrible segment because this is called the news. Elon Musk is accusing Meta of cheating with their new rival, Threads. Are you on Threads yet, Will?
I am on the Threads.
Yeah. It's the easiest thing to sign up for. It's absolutely insane
great.
how easy Meta have made it. Like, it's crazy.
I love it.
It's so easily integrated into Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just like, do you want to import your stuff? Do you want to import more stuff? Do you just want to follow every friend that you've got on there? Sweet, we can do it. It's done.
Do you want it set up so that as soon as they join, you just automatically follow them? Sure. All right. Cool.
Yeah, basically, Elon Musk and his lawyers have said there is a systematic, willful, and unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and intellectual property, as well as scraping of Twitter's data in a cease and desist letter sent to Mark Zuckerberg by Musk's lawyer, Alex Spiro. I was going to say Sapiro.
Oh, yes.
Not it. But Musk said Twitter had laid off more than 6,000 employees
Yep.
when he did his
of course.
$44 billion purchase,
Yep.
which I didn't realize that's 80% of the workforce at Twitter.
Weird that it's fallen apart.
Shock horror, right?
Strange.
Spiro claimed Meta hired dozens of ex-Twitter staff.
Fair.
Again, shock horror.
Fair.
You would go from one giant social media to another.
Yeah.
And probably get hired because you're probably good at your job.
Yep.
Who had and continue to have trade secrets and other highly confidential information,
course.
and have since helped create the new Threads social media platform. That's just their assumption. We'll get into that soon.
Interesting.
Elon also tweeted, competition is fine, cheating is not.
And video games aren't art.
That's right. Yeah. There's a lot of big quotes there. Which it's really funny because that sounds like Elon claiming that Meta, the creator of Facebook and continued developer of Instagram after its acquisition in 2012, doesn't have the ability to create and maintain like highly successful social media platforms.
Yeah.
Which no, Elon, that's you. You can't do that.
You're holding a mirror,
You've acquired
buddy.
Twitter, and you're running it into the ground.
Fucking
this
hell.
is you who can't create Twitter.
Yeah.
You had nothing to do with Twitter.
Yeah, that is weird. He's acting like the creator.
So according to BBC, for Twitter to actually be successful in any legal claim here, they have to really prove that its own intellectual property, such as straight up code, had been taken and placed straight into the thing.
Threads,
which, you know, if these developers were actually working on Threads, they could probably just go and write code themselves, which they've already written.
It's not copying.
Like, you can't straight up copy and paste the code, which I assume Twitter wouldn't let you take the code home anyway.
Yeah.
So I doubt they did.
Yeah.
But these are people that
They know the code.
This is their area. Their area is social media platforms and social media development. They're going to have that information, and that's why they're going to get hired elsewhere, because they have that information. It's going to happen, especially if you fire them.
Yeah.
So Meta has denied these claims. The Meta spokesperson, Andy Stone, said no one on the Threads engineering team is actually a former employee of Twitter.
Amazing.
He said, literally, this is in the quote, "That's just not a thing."
Fuck,
I love that. I love that in a...
Everyone's so young.
This spokesperson's probably 20. So good. I was trying to think of some like super young thing and I couldn't think of it.
That's the way. Yeah.
I don't know, like that's just not facts.
So you've just changed one word in that. Like,
can't do it. I'm not young enough. I'm too old. Oh man.
Slay.
In just to round this out, just one of the funniest things. The launch of Threads has also sparked Mark Zuckerberg's first tweet in 11 years. Have you seen this tweet?
No.
It is the Spider-Man clone pointing meme and nothing else.
Amazing. Good
It's
job,
so
buddy.
Good. Oh my gosh, it's so freaking funny.
Good job, Mark.
It's so good. Basically, if Mark Zuckerberg in this whole legal battle can prove that none of the staff working on this, like they would probably have to, provide the books, like the payroll and all the information about this person's role, the people's role on Threads. If they can prove that no one on the Threads engineering team actually is from Meta, it's over.
Yeah, there's no case.
That's it. They got nothing else.
Oh man, I kind of don't want it to be over because I'm keen for the next Social Network 2.
Yes. Yeah, please.
Surely that's gonna happen.
Yep. Bring back Andrew Garfield.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And Jesse
Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lex
That's
Luthor
so
himself.
good.
It's gonna happen. It surely will.
Yeah. Who's gonna play Elon?
Yeah. Oh, there's no one ugly and weird enough.
No one weird enough to play.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Sure.
That's all I can
Go
think
for
of.
it. Yeah, that's cool.
Go
with that.
How wild. I hope Threads works. Like,
It seems pretty good.
it's fine. Yeah.
Also, I also love that. Okay, I was thinking about Meta and what Meta owns right now.
Yeah.
So Meta started with Facebook,
Yes.
which was sharing photos and statuses.
To individual.
And now what do they own?
Yeah, two
They own
separate apps.
Instagram, which is just for posting photos and videos, and Threads, which is just posting statuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they own one thing that does both, which just worked already. And now
they've
they
bought the other two.
they own two others, which do separately what the one thing that they initially created did in the first place.
That's very funny. That's
so
very funny.
strange.
That's very odd. Well done, Mark.
There you go.
Buy the competition and make the competition.
That's it. Yeah, totally. It's such a good choice. I'm glad he's done it.
Yeah.
I feel like this one, out of all of the others, like Hive and all of that, I feel like this one will work.
I think so. I like how basic it is. So.
It's so integrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, in looking at it, I loved looking at Zach from Auntie Donna. Do you follow Zach at all?
No.
He posted almost 100 times in 24 hours.
Good.
It is the funniest set of threads.
Yeah. Okay.
It's absolutely
Okay,
ridiculous because it's just him
Yeah.
being obsessed with the threads. That's
Good.
it. It's just
Good.
like, hey, I'm on Threads now. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know, Reese Witherspoon is on Threads. Hey, is everyone... Who else is on Threads? I can't believe I've almost got 100 people on Threads now.
Oh my
like,
God.
that's just every post.
They've got another fucking platform to be idiots on. Amazing.
It's so dumb. It's amazing.
Well, there's an idiot among us. Where it's a
Kind of sus, though.
Oh, that's the Among Us sound.
Sure.
The idiots is in my Google Doc. Their name is Paige Freshwater, and they report for Mirror.uk. We'll get back to their other articles. There's nothing gaming or related. There's no news, so I just got this one.
There's not a whole lot.
Nah. So the title of this article is "Mum Embarrassed Dog's Name Refuses." Actually, that's what's in the URL.
Cool.
They're just,
Okay, great.
I'm sure the title is better than that.
Maybe.
But I'll take it through.
Journalism.
Let's take it through. Journalism.
I'd click on that, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck happened there? One man on Reddit has shared how his mum outright refuses to walk his new puppy in public because she's too embarrassed to call its name.
There really isn't any news this week, is there? Amazing. Love it.
The owner explained how he wanted to name his dog something funny because it would create more joy in his day-to-day life. So this is a sad man that bought a puppy and was like, I'm going to call him something funny. He called it Woof. It's not even that weird.
No, not at all.
I've known many a dog that are called Woof.
Yeah, like Barker or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
like,
fun.
Yeah, you name them something very, very dog-like.
Yeah, it's weirder when you call them Jeff or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I've probably mentioned before, but I had a friend at my game dev college that had a cat named Paul.
Weird.
Love it.
Weird.
Love extremely human.
Where are you,
names for
Paul?
dogs.
It's great.
Paul.
Paul.
Paul's in the shower. It's fine.
Paul took a shit.
Now I have to clean it up.
I have to clean up Paul's shit. The guy's such a fucking loser. I guess that's just
Great.
my own sense of humor because I laugh when I call my dog's name out loud at the dog park. Fuck off. He said that his mum. This is the one that is so stupid about this. He told us his mum doesn't actually have to walk the dog if she doesn't want to. Then where is this problem arise? Because he says, where is it? He says that he's got a partner and like they walk the dog. Like this isn't a problem. It just seems like at some point his mum said that's weird and I don't want to do it. And this is a whole news article. He added that his mum hated the idea of woof, come here. No, woof, woof. No, get down, woof. Woof. Mum's an idiot as well. This family.
I reckon if you don't like Wolf, call him Wolf.
Yeah. The dog's not going to know.
The mum's not going to know. You'll feel more normal about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a cool name for a dog.
It's still cool.
Wolf.
Reddit users were like, they dipped into their Facebook memes from fucking 20 years ago, because one was like, I have a brown dog named Pooh because he's brown, and we're laughing about it 13 years later. I hope Pooh dies. Like, I hope he dies so that you're sad, because if you're still laughing about that, you need to grow up.
Yeah, or that you die. Reddit user.
Oh, fucking
That's
got
an
him.
awful, dumb name.
Yeah, you called your dog Pooh.
I'm not doing well today.
No, that's all right. That's all right. We've got another 30 minutes of this podcast.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
One also said, my parents have a lovely all-white boxer that they let my little brother name when he was quite young. He named them Boo, like a ghost. I feel like an idiot every time I would be out walking. I do love that dog, but I never really got past his name.
So we have two users. One is called them Pooh and one is called them Boo.
Yeah.
Great.
Just swapped out that letter.
Thanks, Reddit. Is it Reddit or Twitter?
Well, Reddit, this all came from Reddit.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me, because these comments sound more like Facebook. They sound more like mums on Facebook than they do Redditors, which is very strange.
It is.
And that's all that article's about. But I had a look at Paige Freshwater's other insightful articles on mirror.co.
Amazing, please.
One of them was, I paid £2 for Beanie Baby at Goodwill and sold it for £176. Keep your eye out.
Amazing.
Watch out.
Did we have a news article about Beanie Babies being like super rare one time?
Probably. They are weirdly...
I feel like we might have talked about it, because
they are a
I
Funko.
remember reading about that. Yeah. I remember reading how expensive they are now.
Yeah, they're pretty wild. Also, I bought a 63-pound DNA kit for fun, and it completely destroyed my life.
Amazing.
I found out that I was also a sibling of Woody Harrelson.
This person writes the articles that are like not real articles at the bottom of other articles.
Yeah, totally. They're fake ad articles.
Yeah, the pill that doctors don't want you to know about.
Yeah.
Like, this is what this person writes about.
9 out of 10 dentists are afraid of this Beanie Baby.
Remember Abby from NCIS? This is what she looks like now. The same.
Just a demon. Oh, yeah. My favorite one, though, is I let ChatGPT name my baby. It came up with better ideas than I ever could. I clicked on this one. The first name, Blake. You couldn't think of Blake, you fucking idiot.
I bet ChatGPT just gave you standard
Just
names.
normal names.
Yeah, ChatGPT isn't funny.
No.
It's funny. It's like, it's okay when you wanted to write a parody or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, it's a computer. It's going to give you logical names.
I don't know.
It's logic.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I feel like it was playing a prank on this person by being like, name your kid Blake.
Blake.
He's going to regret it. There you go.
Good.
That's my second piece of news, everybody.
Love it. And for my second piece of news, segues are flying. They're
good.
so good. It's insane.
That's a segue, everybody.
It's a hover bike from Zelda, which was made by Nintendo. Speaking of Nintendo Switch PSA, everybody. This is just a bit of information just in case you do this and you want to save your Switch from destruction, pure destruction.
Yeah.
So back in the 90s, people used to blow in their Nintendo 64 cartridges to make them work.
Yep.
I don't know how everyone knew to do that internationally, because we barely had the internet.
Yeah.
I doubt that it was written into magazines. Everyone just did it.
If anything, it was written into magazines to not do it.
Probably, which is what this PSA is.
Yeah, right.
So this was actually really bad for them because you're blowing like moist, warm air and saliva into a cartridge with like very sensitive components that could rust. So they basically released a statement recently telling Switch users not to blow into the Switch game card slot.
Yeah.
So the little slot on the Switch itself.
Oh, yeah.
As well as not using a cotton tip to try and remove dust, things like that. Or inserting, this one seems logical, or inserting a damaged game card. If the game card is damaged and the pins on the back are like all mangled, probably don't try and play it.
Why are you even doing that? Yeah.
Because it'll hurt the Switch, and they're like, there's probably stuff that both the cotton tip and the cartridge could get like stuck on as you try and pull it out again, and that could just destroy components and things like that. So yeah, don't blow on it. Don't use cotton tips. Don't try inserting damaged game cards.
The phrasing of that sounds like someone's like, well, if I can't clean it with a cotton tip and I can't, maybe I can clean it with a damaged card.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe that'll get the dust out.
Yeah, easy, done.
I've sorted it.
So apparently I didn't even write the actual solution to this. But their solution was just to use a vacuum, some sort of vacuum.
Yeah, right.
There are little like tech vacuums and things that you can use. But yeah, just to try and get dust out, try and, vacuum it out with something else. Don't jam anything into there because it'll damage it.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the news. It's PSA. There was not much this week.
No, it's pretty shit week.
Call your kid Blake.
Yeah.
And don't destroy your Switch.
Welcome to Cues from Use. This is
Gosh, I love this podcast.
And I've grabbed one from Sir Dolphin of Pants. Surprise! Dolphin Pants says, if you had to only watch the filmography of one actor for the rest of your life, who are you picking? Josh, you're great at remembering actors.
I am.
If you could only watch the filmography of one dude, one lady, one person for the rest of your life.
Goodness.
Who would it be?
I feel like it would be... He hasn't done much, so there wouldn't be many movies, actually. I would go Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
We just love his movies. He's got really fun movies.
He's never missed.
It's true. He hasn't done a lot, but he's done enough that it would be fun.
The Goz is pretty good. I was looking at my Letterboxd actors. Like, there's a thing that's like most watched where they've appeared. Cumberbatch is number one. Which kind of makes sense because he's got because on there it's got Sherlock, so there's 9 Sherlocks and the Marvel movies and Star Trek and the Hobbits, which people adore. But I kind of wouldn't go with him because it's like you want an actor with rewatchable films as well.
Yeah. Like you could do one of the Doctors. You could do like a Matt Smith or a David Tennant.
Yeah, but then you got Morbius or
It's true. Do you have to watch them?
No, you can avoid them, but you've only got 50 movies. You're like, I'll never watch that one.
Yeah.
A Tom Hanks would be pretty good.
Oh, that's a good one. I do like that.
You've got all the Toy Stories. You've got Castaway.
You Castaway. You've got You Big.
You got You Big. It's unfortunate that there isn't more.
You've got
females.
Elvis.
You've got Elvis.
Pretty good.
Well, that'll sort you for 9 hours. Emma Thompson's in a lot of good stuff.
Emma Stone's
very good. And a good variety
I'd sign up
as well.
I'd sign up for some Emma Stone movies.
Yeah. The obvious pick for me is actually Harrison Ford, because you get all your indies, you get all your Star Wars, and then
you get all your Star Warses.
Yeah, the good ones, basically. Yeah, he's only in the good ones. So, like Rise of Skywalker.
Nice. You could also do maybe a Michael J. Fox. Because he's just made very delightful movies for the period of time that he was making movies. Plus, now you can also watch his documentary, which you said a couple of weeks ago is delightful, and I still haven't gotten to just yet. But
gotta do it. There's the picks.
Nice.
Let us know in the Discord. What are your filmography peeps?
Very good. Dump Days asks, if you and you pet swap sizes, would they try and kill you, or would they still be your friend?
So I haven't had one since a budgie. So mine's a budgie, a human-sized budgie. And I did let him out once, and he got really fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So I reckon he would. I reckon he would kill me.
Probably.
Birds, because birds don't like you.
Yeah,
really.
Birds go for like bugs. And if we swap sizes...
that's right, because we're fucking tiny. It's not like
we would be
size.
tiny.
Yeah. We're dead.
No, we're swapping sides. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
What pet wouldn't kill you?
Yeah.
I guess any big pets. So you've got dogs.
Yeah. So I've had dogs.
And they're very placid, kind dogs.
They are quite placid, but like to them, I guess we would be like mouse-sized. It would almost be the equivalent of like if we shrunk down to a mouse, then that would be the size of a dog.
Yes.
Like then that would be the equivalent. And I feel like dogs would go for mice.
Yeah. I think you're safer than a budgie. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Cherry would have killed me.
Yep.
And I think Paris would have been friendly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't think Paris was ever like angry
Couldn't be fucked.
at anything. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
She just wanted attention from everyone. She'd probably ignore me because I wasn't big enough to give her attention.
Yeah. I've had that before.
Do we have another question or are we done?
No, we've done enough here. Let's head out of the Cues from You segment.
Rexing!
Our favourite segment. Oh god, I almost did a double whammy. Rec. We almost got accompaniment with the rec seg.
Accompaniment.
It's a fucking dumb word.
That word is nuts.
Yeah.
And you saying it just then made me realize how insane that word actually is.
Yeah. That
accompaniment.
And adoration.
How do we
get there? That's a silly
adoration.
Word. Welcome to the rec seg.
Well, I had never realized that adoration and adorable must be linked.
Adore is the base word.
Yeah. I'd never thought of it.
Yeah.
Wild.
Welcome
The
to
discoveries you make on this podcast.
Yeah. Josh's book this week is The Dictionary. It's where we rec seg. We wreck things in the rec seg. It's not where we rec seg. We do. Technically, we rec seg in the rec seg, but we wreck things in the rec seg. TV and film. Very quickly, I'll talk about a film. I've done this a few times this year. It's very exciting. A film that's not out yet, although it is, because what the fuck? Mission Impossible, you can
apparently.
see it right now, time of the recording.
This weekend, for some reason, you can just go see it.
You can go and watch it, which I may do with my papa.
Nice.
It's very long and very, shit, but, the last two have been
Is it a dad movie? Is it a dad movie?
Yeah, I guess
or is
so.
It bad?
Well, it's because I feel like things like The Grey Man and Extraction. I know I didn't say Extraction had a plot, but they feel coherent. Whereas this movie really and it is because there is no script. There was no script written for this movie. They knew the 9 action sequence they wanted, and then just filmed things in between it. Was basically the way this movie went. Simon Pegg's been on a podcast. They're like, "What was it like?" Ad-libbing and stuff, and he's like, well, the whole thing was ad-lib because there's no script. And then even at the premiere, they were like to Haley Atwell, what was it like getting a Mission Impossible script landing on the table? She's like, what script? And I'm like, I'm going to be here for 3 hours. Don't say that.
That's crazy. That's insane that it wasn't just loose script.
Yeah.
No script.
No script. No.
That's stupid.
And it feels it. There are just scenes where you're because there is no structural coherence to what they've filmed. Characters, it's not like a character gets shot and then the next scene they're like, oh, I'm so sore. It's they're impenetrable because they have to be the same in every scene, and they can't have an emotional arc because who knows if they filmed that first, they can't set that up over here and vice versa. And so there is no narrative to the film. It is so exhaustingly just we're here and then we're over there and then this happens. The villain has a very specific gimmick, and occasionally, just due to the fact they probably came up with that later, things happen that go against that gimmick and are plot holes, and it's just because they didn't know. They didn't write it properly. And so I think it's shit. I hated Fallout. Fallout got a lot of love. It has all the same issues because it also had no script. So it's these two suck, but we'll see what happens.
There you go. There's a part 2 to look forward to.
Yeah.
Can only be up from here. Nice. I've never seen a Mission Impossible movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I had until Fallout, and then I watched the first one, and that was it. I haven't watched any of the other ones. Maybe there's context I'm missing, but also Sam said he watched them all, and he was like... Because there's a bit in the movie that's it feels like flashback emotional context. It's someone died, and that's why this person's angry. And I was talking to Sam, and he's like... I don't think that ever happened in a movie. I think they filmed a flashback that never happened.
So good. Love that.
Yeah, rough movie. Good movie is Nimona. which is the one on Netflix that I talked about like 2 weeks ago. That was a Blue Sky production and then got handed over to Annapurna and is now on Netflix. It's very good. It's very similar to what we watched of the Beast, the Sea Beast, I think it was called.
Oh yeah,
It's very similar to that, where it's like that was good, but like not like good. Like it was there, but it feels like there was no level of polish or like an interesting flair put to it to make it actually worth watching. But it is, like I said, very heavily on the LGBTQI plus kind of themes, and so it's a very good movie to exist. And I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot out of it in that respect. But for me, there wasn't much there. So definitely, if you identify with that stuff, I'm sure you would enjoy the film.
Very nice. I watched a horror movie this week. Oh, weirdly enough, a horror thriller called Run. It's on Netflix.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much because it's very good. It's like worth a watch because it's quite cool. But it's about a mother with a sick, disabled daughter.
Yep.
Who right at the start of the movie, the daughter's going to college age. But a whole bunch of stuff leaks out over time, and she finds out about her illnesses. And then over the course of the movie, you find out more and more about these things.
Yep.
And it's freaking hectic. It's cool.
Interesting.
It's very good. Wow. It's more of a thriller than a horror.
Yep.
It's not like scary. It's not like there's no ghosts or anything super creepy. It's definitely more of a thriller, but it's good.
Yeah,
real cool. And both of the people in it, I was like, I recognize this person. Yeah. I don't think I've seen any of their movies, but I feel like I recognize them. I think the mum's been in a lot of horror movies.
Yep. Sarah Paulson, she's Pedro Pascal's best friend.
Nice.
She's mummy.
Very cool.
She's his mummy to daddy.
yeah. Mum and dad. There you go. That's lovely. Cool. And then I also watched a documentary this week, all on YouTube because it's the only place to see it, and I think someone just found it and put it up.
Yeah, go.
Because I think it was meant for I think it was properly released.
Yeah.
But then it's not really a thing that people would be after, so
it's just wound up on YouTube.
Yeah, but I actually found out about this, I think weirdly in the second episode of the Filthy Casuals podcast from, they've been there for 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And it's a skateboarding documentary.
Of course.
But it's called All This Mayhem. And it's a skateboarding documentary about two brothers, Bogan brothers from Melbourne in the 80s and 90s who used to skate Paran Skate Park, which is... one of the first skate parks I went to when I started skating again in Melbourne. Which is very cool. It's got a huge half pipe, like the big half pipes that Tony Hawk rides. Like Paran was pretty rough. It still is, but the skate park and stuff back in the late 80s, early 90s and stuff was super rough. But if you were a skateboarder, you were accepted.
Yep.
And, these new two kids came to the skate park, had never ridden a half pipe really before, and it's them just sort of progressing super freaking quickly. And literally became two of the best skateboarders in the world.
Jeez.
Beating Tony Hawk in competitions in America.
Wow.
And these are two guys no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of them.
PlayStation game.
Yeah, totally. So it also follows, obviously being Bogan Australians, it also follows their deep, very quick fall and descent into drugs and partying and a little bit of murder thrown in.
Cool.
Which is kind of intense.
That would be a great video game.
Yeah. Tony isn't painted in the best light in this either, which is very interesting. Like, because he's always the poster child of skateboarding, because he's always very wholesome and stuff. And to a degree, like, he still kind of is in this. The way that they paint it is that he's bought his way into being the poster child.
Yeah, right.
Because he, like, part owns ESPN and, like, all these, like, skate magazines and all these groups. Like, he kind of... Yeah, he's so deeply entwined in this to a business level.
Yeah.
that it's like,
Well, of course he would be.
yeah,
the
he's
best.
he's the one that everyone just goes like, well, he has to be the best. He has to be the top. He has to be the one that everybody loves. And because these guys were just partying and is from Australia and they're pretty rough sort of guys, publicity-wise, they sort of were constantly tried to be swept under the rug,
Yeah, of
even
course.
though they were number 1 and 2 in the world
Yep.
over Tony
Yeah.
Hawk for a number of years in the early 90s, like around the rise of Tony Hawk.
Yeah, we don't want these dirty guys in the public.
Totally. Like, it's really intense.
Yeah, wow.
And so one of them tries to be the first to do a 900, which famously Tony Hawk was the first person to do a 900.
Yeah.
So this is basically going up the quarter pipe really, really fast, really high, and spinning 2.5 rotations,
Jeez, yeah.
which is a lot. And no one had done that before at that point. No
Yep.
one had ever done a 900. The 720 was the furthest that anyone had done. 540 is the most common, because you go up kind of the your like regular way that you would be skating.
Yeah,
and
and
then
just
you
do
do
that.
one full rotation, and then one more brings you down going back the regular way again.
Yep.
So if you do a 360, you go up one way and you come back your backwards
Yes.
skateboarding way,
Yep.
which is hard to do. So the 720 is quite hard because you come back in switch, they call it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of backwards. The 900, you're coming back the right way, but that's a lot of freaking rotations
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
in the air. So no one had done it at this stage. Nowadays, there's, 1080s. People have done 1080s and beyond.
Sure, right.
But skateboarding just keeps progressing
Yeah, of course.
way too far, and they've got bigger and better ramps and all that sort of stuff. So in terms of, the late 90s, no one had done it before. This dude was getting so close, and there is so much footage of him doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone's there. There's like skateboarding magazines are there. Trans World Skateboarding, which is one of the biggest publications at the time,
Yeah.
are there filming him. But pretty sure Tony Hawk also kind of owned them, and the guy that was like would go film and take photos of Tony Hawk was also there
Yep.
filming this dude trying to do a 900. And this guy's like, I think they're all here to try and film me do this for the first time. He unfortunately didn't land it.
Yep.
Skip forward probably a couple of months. There's a skate competition in Australia, Sydney, Australia. Tony Hawk came out to do it.
Yep.
Famously, this is the skateboarding competition where Tony Hawk does a 900, the first person in the world to do a 900. The other person that was also at this competition was this other Australian
Yeah.
dude. There's a competition in this Australian comp called the Best Trick competition. And so you get 10 chances at doing a really, really hard trick.
Yep.
And if you land it, that's awesome. You might win. But if other people also land their best tricks and do crazy things
Yep.
that are better than yours, or land them better than yours, then they're going to win.
Yep.
And, obviously this dude's like, I'm going to try really hard to land a 900 today.
Yep.
Someone comes up to him and is like, sorry, you're not in this competition. And he's like, what are you talking
Fucking
about? It's
hell.
like, your name's not in the list. It's like, what do you mean? This is my thing. This is why I'm here. I'm here to do a 900.
Yep.
And he's like, sorry, you're not signed up for this. I don't know what's happened. You're not signed up. And they're like, well, who is signed up then?
And fucking
Tony
Tony
Hawk
Hawk
signed up. Tony Hawk just starts doing a 900. So
Fucking
he's
hell.
he's like these magazines that were filming me back in America doing a 900, and Tony Hawk's filmer took my footage to Tony
Yeah.
Hawk to
But
show him
do
that
this.
I'm very close to doing a 900. And skateboarding couldn't have this rough as guts Australian dude to be the first guy to do a 900. It had to be the poster child.
Yeah.
It's like, it's freaking nuts, man. Like, it changes
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Changes the
But
narrative.
This thing is a podcast from, this thing is a documentary from 2012.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that no one's
it's been
talking
out
about.
for a long time and no one's talking about it.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a wild documentary to watch. It was
Yeah.
really cool. And I spoiled basically the whole thing because I know no one's going to
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
None of our fans are going to
That's wild.
watch it. But man, it was a watch, and it was quite a discovery
Yeah.
to have. So yeah.
It's always wild
It
when
was-
when you see something that changes the perspective of a hero or someone. I mean, that's history. They get painted
yeah.
in a way for a purpose. But
Yeah, yeah. But it's
How
just crazy.
interesting.
Like, Yeah, one of these two guys is still alive. These two brothers, and I think they're still in Melbourne and they still skate.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And they're probably categorically better than Tony Hawk.
Yeah, probably. Like, they would watch the street skaters.
Yep.
And they would do what the street skaters were doing on the vert ramp, which vert skaters never... Well, like at this stage, not many of them were flipping their boards this way.
Yep.
They would always spin their boards like they would rotate their boards, but they wouldn't flip their boards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's easier to do. And these kids were like flipping their boards, and no one had seen that before. And so that's why they were like beating Tony Hawk in competitions, because he was only rotating his board. He wasn't flipping it around.
Far out.
So he would always like tricks at that stage were like grind tricks, air tricks, like just being in the air and rotating it, whether it be rotating the board or rotating your body.
Not just dancing with the board.
Yeah, that was vert skating back then. But like flipping the board around and doing stuff like that. Like there were ones where they flip the board around and then they grab it like this, like
either side of the thing,
right in between, and they would just grab it and hold it out in front of them and then put it back beneath their feet before they land. Like just crazy things that I still don't see now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's cool that like I've skated that half pipe, not well, because it's a huge half pipe.
Yeah,
but I've been on it and I've pumped back and forth.
Yeah,
just going back and forth before, like, and then looking at it now and then being like, yeah, we skated this half pipe in Paran all the time. I'm like,
me too.
This is when I skate. I went there. Like, what the heck? It's crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah. Any games? Any games?
Really? The only thing is Lego 2K Drive is very fun. It's still very fun. I'm using it for work, but
yeah, totally. Yeah. I was gonna say I really like the constant like back pocket like mini reviews that you guys are doing.
Yep.
For your social things. They're really
cool. Yeah, sick.
Dig them.
That's good. I'm glad someone does.
Yeah, no, they're cool. It's like I like the bite-sized ones, like Gus jumping in on things. Like I know he did Dredge ages ago, and you've been doing your 2K Drive ones occasionally, and then Ruby jumping in with everything else.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she knows games.
Totally.
But yeah, no,
she's perfect for those.
Lego's the only game this year that's on my list. It's the only one that I'm like, that's probably going to be a game of the year unless Spider-Man is amazing, which it probably will be. But talk to us about games, Josh.
Nice. I have 4 things on my list.
Yeah.
I'll talk about one very, very briefly because there is a whole podcast around it. I finished Zelda.
Yeah, cool.
I did it this week. I didn't mention it on the stream, but Ben said that they would edit and release this video as early as possible. Yeah. They did not. It's fine.
That's what we do here.
Yes, but far out. I freaking love that game. So good. Yeah. There's still stuff, like there's some side missions, some bigger side missions that I'm aware of that I have in my list, but I haven't done yet. And I haven't dipped back in because I feel really like, I feel like I've finished the game. Yeah. But there are just some of those things, like I was listening to Thumb Cramps with Ruby this week, and she's discussing some of the side missions that I haven't done yet. And I'm like, oh man,
I want to do them.
So Zelda, so good.
First.
Yes, that's it. So there's 7 episodes of a podcast of me talking about it, so I don't need to do it here. Max and I started playing another Nancy Drew game the other day. I was meant to look it up. Something to do with Waverley, something or other. Yeah, okay. It's like a private school, and there's letters going out from someone called the Black Cat, and they're warnings. And if you get 2 letters from the Black Cat, then something bad happens to you not long after. And some people think it's all a coincidence. Yep. Some people think that it's, someone going for them, and they're only going out to other potential valedictorians. Yep. But there were 2 major suspects in this that constantly say, nah, I burnt or like ripped up and threw
Yeah.
out my letter. So it's like, it's one of you. But also, as mysteries go, it's probably the first person you talk to
Yeah,
that's trying
yeah,
to be
yeah.
the friendliest.
Yeah.
And that's the first person and the main person that I suspect.
Yep.
Because everyone else suspects the other person. And I'm like, well,
Then it's
if
not
everyone's telling you who it is, it's not going to be them.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it's my roommate, Nancy Drew's roommate. So yeah. Also, I think it's around the same era as the other game that we played,
Yeah.
which was a remake of the very
Yes.
first game.
Yeah.
So the animations are very similar.
Yeah.
It's also set at a school, so it feels almost similar. The other choice that we were thinking of was one about a train.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe a different setting would be nice.
Would
And
be
apparently
good,
that has much more like Agatha Christie vibes too.
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
all set on a
Yeah, of
train,
course.
so it's kind of like
Yeah. Murder.
Orient.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. I feel like we're maybe like halfway through it. We played for 4
Yeah, cool.
hours maybe last night. It does have some mini games in there though, because there is a student who is obsessed with like sports and games and competition. She's very competitive.
Yeah.
And so whenever you ask her for something,
Yeah.
she's like, I'll give it to you, but you have to beat me in a game of air hockey.
What the fuck?
And for a point and click game,
Yeah.
to be making an air
It's not
hockey
ready for
game,
that.
it's not there. It's really not there, and it's not good. Oh my gosh, it's the most frustrating freaking thing. The opposition basically follows the ball exactly, but
Yeah.
maybe with a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
And so you really need to hit it like hard and get it behind them
Yeah.
to have any chance.
Yeah, you're not going to just knock it in.
Nah. They're a computer. They're going to be
Lame.
going almost the most efficient route
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Also, I think because of the aspect ratio of the game being in 3x4, 4x3,
Yep. 4x3, yeah.
if you go outside of those bounds, like the cursor, which you can't see the actual physical cursor,
Yeah.
if you go outside of those bounds,
It's
then
just gone.
it's like, the puck is locked to that position.
Yeah.
So wherever you come back in
Bring it.
on,
Yeah.
it jumps and skips. And so if you think that you're like bringing it back
Yeah.
to where the puck is, it's like, nah, you've jumped over to the other side of the freaking table now, and the
God.
puck's just gone boop boop in. It's so rough. I also played through the first chapter of Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker,
All right.
which is a game that I've been wanting to play for years.
Yeah?
because it's a collectathon, and I love a collectathon.
That's all it is.
Yeah, but it's always expensive because Nintendo first-party games don't go down in price much.
Yeah.
But
That's
recently, because
that's
of all
they're
these
products.
Yeah, they are products. That's
Yeah.
right. They just want to make money.
Yeah.
But recently, because of all the Mario stuff that's been happening, it's been a whole bunch of Mario sales. So I managed to actually get it for like 30% off, which is probably the best I'll do. So
Sound like Mario was in something sort of like he's been cancelled because of that Mario stuff. The games
all
are
the
just
Mario stuff. Yeah, they just drop it in price. Huge dip.
Had to get rid of Mario.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good?
so finally got to it. It's very fun. They're like little 3D kind of cubey dioramas, which you rotate your camera perspective around.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, it's just a bunch of puzzles for each level to be able to like unlock your entry into like, a little bit of like a house or something that's underground or whatever. There's pipes and things like that.
Yeah.
And every level has a star, which ends the level once you reach the star.
Yep.
And it's got 3 diamonds. And you don't have to collect the diamonds.
Yep.
But they're just in there as an extra thing. I think maybe as you play, there might be ones where it's like you have to collect this many diamonds to unlock
To get to the next stuff.
these levels.
Yeah.
So you've got to go back and do them if you haven't.
Yep.
But I 100% the level every time before
course.
moving on.
Yeah.
Once you do it once, it adds an additional challenge to it. That's just
cool.
written down.
Yep.
So once you finish it once, it's like, all right, go back and don't kill any enemies. And so you have to do it, but just dodge all the enemies instead of killing them to get past them and things like that.
Yep.
And then there's an additional one when you finish it the first time as well, which is there's a little pixel art toad, like 2D pixel art toad, which is hidden on like a wall or an object somewhere in the level.
Yeah.
And you just have to go find him. And when you find him, you touch on the touchscreen.
Cool.
And that finishes the level. So
Yep.
you don't have to finish the level at all. You just have to go find
it.
him.
Yeah, fun.
But half the time you have to go through most of the level, or like at least half of the level to actually figure out where he is.
Yep.
And I've been playing exclusively in handheld mode.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of touchscreen stuff.
That's good.
Because sometimes there's like, you know, a whole wall will move side to side when you touch on it.
Yep.
And you can play in, you know, docked mode.
Yeah.
But you have to use like a cursor. I'm like,
Nah.
I'm not doing that. That's gross. I don't want to do that. Every chapter is split up into a book. And I didn't know that was called chapter 1. So when I got to the end of the first book after 18 levels and maybe like 3 hours, I was like, is that it?
Is that the game?
And there was a boss fight.
Yeah.
And then the credits rolled.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Are you...
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I've
the end
been
of the
waiting years to play this freaking game.
Yeah.
It was 18 levels and I finished it in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what do you... And like 100% at every level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what do
So
you
you
mean
had
that's
nothing
it?
left.
And after the credits rolled, which I think you also can't skip.
That really feels
Sit
like the
there
end
and
of the
wait
game.
for it. Yeah. It goes back to the main menu and then it's like chapter 2 and that pops up. And then when you
hell.
start chapter 2, which I started a little bit of it, but again, seeing credits, I feel like
Yeah.
I check out of a game when I see. So
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm not going to play this anymore, but I'll go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started the first level. It's a much bigger level this time. The levels got progressively bigger and bigger, but this feels a lot more complex with many more moving parts. But it starts off almost identically to the first level. Like it actually is identical.
Yeah, cool.
But Toad gets stolen and you're like Lady Toad.
Yeah, cool.
You're like Pink Toad. And so now you have to go save,
Yeah, cool.
which is very cool. So yeah, so they flip it and then apparently there must be a third chapter
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I looked it up. There is a third chapter. I think
Yeah.
it's like 58 levels or something in total.
Yeah, okay.
How
funny.
Yeah, it's very cute. It's very fun, very simple. But there's enough challenge in there for like when you want to 100% it. I think that's where I'm getting the challenge and getting more out of it is 100%ing it because I'm like, it's so easy to just finish a level.
Yeah.
Like I might as well take these extra challenges of finishing it without damaging anything, finishing it, you know, without using this particular bridge by finding an alternate way around and things like that.
Yeah, make the most of
It's
it.
good. Fun. Yeah, been enjoying that.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing a bunch of Diablo 4. So we're playing through the campaign on stream.
Yep.
Which is good. I think we'll probably finish Act 2. We probably would have finished Act 2 by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
On Monday stream. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. But I've been playing a bunch of just the side missions.
Yep.
And just learning the mechanics of the game. Because on stream, for such a detailed, in-depth game like Diablo, there's so much reading, so much story. There's so many like stats and upgrades and trees of like, you know, renown for different areas with different people when you do their side missions, and that unlocks extra things. And there's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
So now that I've had time, I've finished Zelda and I've had time to just sit there and look
Absorb
through
it.
things and watch videos on it, like, you know, tips for beginners and things like that. I feel like I've gotten into a good swing of things. I've looked up builds for my character type, and I've like gone heavy into like one build, which on stream last week I unlocked an ability called Rend, which is essentially like bleeding out an enemy.
Yeah.
So when you attack them, their health bar is like bright red.
Yep.
And then when you attack them and they bleed out, it shows you in dark red where they're going to bleed out to.
Yep.
So then it's just a matter of time
Yeah, cool.
at that stage.
Yeah.
So you can keep using Rend until their like their whole health bar is not bright red anymore, until it's all just dark red.
Yep.
And then you can just run and focus on other enemies
Because they're
you're
dying.
they're going to die soon anyway.
Amazing. Is it Rend
that's
because
sort
of Renfield?
Don't know.
Or is
don't know.
rendering them unwell?
Helpless. Yeah, I don't know. Because I think the idea is, I'm pretty sure, because, okay, the reason why I was so excited about Rend is because that was one of my first and main abilities that I used to use in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I got very excited when I saw that because, again, it's Blizzard, so there's going to be some crossover with abilities and things.
Yeah.
And then when I looked up builds for the game, one of them is the Rend build. So I'm like, sick.
That.
And so most of my abilities bleed out enemies.
Yeah, cool.
So like even my main attack just goes and like, you know, they just bleed out. It's great.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then if I've got like a lot of enemies, I've got like heavier attacks that just smack and wipe out groups and things. It's really cool. But I think the idea, because there's a move in World of Warcraft also called hamstring.
Yep.
And it's literally cutting
of course.
the inside hamstrings and tendons of the enemy to slow them down.
Amazing.
And there was I think in the late 90s or early 2000s, I remember reading an article of someone who survived a bear attack because they used hamstring.
Yeah, on a
They
bear.
literally were a World of Warcraft player, and they were like, I need to get away.
Hell.
The only way I can do this
Yeah.
is by cutting their tendons, which I learned from World of Warcraft, and they did it.
Game saves lives.
Freaking sick. That's it.
That's it. That's all the Rex. I've been still reading that terrible book. I'll talk more about it when I finish it.
Nice. Player 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the one. But before we wrap, we've also got the TOEVEE guide, the stuff coming this week.
Yes.
Nothing on the Tuesday, but on Wednesday the 12th, the After Party Season 2 drops on Apple TV. That's the Chris Miller, but it's the one that Ben Schwartz was involved in, the music from Daniel Pemberton. It's getting a second season.
Cool. Yeah, okay. Yep. Nice.
It always gives me, I've only watched 1 or 2 episodes, it gives me like game night vibes a little bit. It's got a bit of that to it, so that's on Apple TV.
Yes, sir.
Thursday the 13th, Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals comes to PlayStation, Switch, mobile, obviously for the Netflix app. This is, I think, the first like good Netflix produced game. Like they've dropped lots
They
of
just
little
keep
indies
buying
and stuff, but this is like a promise that's finally coming to fruition.
Yeah. Because like there's good games on there. Like you know, there's Pink. It's called
Point B.
Point P.
Yeah.
Like Pengu.
Pengu?
No.
But
Point P. There's Point P, but this is like a story-driven like
This is a
narrative,
game.
not purchased. It's like it's a popular indie game.
So, that drops on Thursday.
Cool. Nice.
Also on Thursday, in terms of movies, obviously Mission Impossible, but you may have already seen it. Dali Land is coming. And this is a film about Dali, about Salvador himself.
Cool. That'd be trippy as hell.
Yeah, it looks, and it's very booby. And not the drink. There's lots of, it's very nudie. But it says,
No, you go for it, please.
A young gallery assistant goes on a wild adventure behind the scenes as he helps the aging genius prepare for a big show in New York. Aging genius played by Ben Kingsley. So he's basically playing Trevor again.
Sick. That's cool.
Very fun.
Yeah, rad.
Weirdly, this film must have been filmed a while ago. Young Dali is Ezra Miller. Which is interesting.
Interesting.
It definitely works. Just from the trailer, it looks like it's a good pairing, but that hits the cinemas.
Cool. There you go. I remember listening to a Do Go On podcast about Salvador Dali, and he got his like weird trippiness from sleep deprivation. So he used to sit in front of a blank canvas, and he used to hold spoons, and he would sit there until he fell asleep. And then he would drop the spoons and wake up.
Jeez.
Then he'd pick up the spoons again.
Yeah, and just do that.
And he'd sit there and just do that until he started, until he was basically on a trip.
Yeah.
But not using drugs, just using sleep deprivation.
Far out.
And then that's where he would start having his weird, psychosis sort of visions or weird quick dreams and things, and then he'd paint those.
Sick. Oh, well, hopefully they portray those pretty good.
I really hope they do. Yeah, that's when you said they're doing a movie about him. I'm like, that's going to be wild.
I hope so. It seems cool. So that's out Thursday in cinemas, and then on Binge in Australia, What We Do in the Shadows gets its 5th season. That show's still going.
Wow, what the heck?
Which is very surprising.
I thought they did 2.
No, we're on season 5, baby.
That's nuts. What are these shows that I've heard of that I think maybe did 1 or 2?
It's more so, I
They're
think,
on like 4 or 5.
it's because we don't realize how much time has passed. It's like,
Yeah.
it makes sense of done 5 seasons. It probably came out like 7 years ago. But
Yeah, I just didn't know it was that popular to
Yeah.
be picked up constantly.
they love it. The world loves it.
Crazy.
Friday the 14th, Gravity Circuit is a retro platformer from Domesticated Ant Games. I just like the name of the developer. PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
What's it called?
Gravity Circuit. It's very retro, like good, like compressed audio design and stuff. But it's their first game. They've not done anything else before it.
Nice. Yeah. It's like yeah. It looks like sort of high quality pixel art platform.
Yeah. Which seems very fun.
Very good.
And then on Netflix, a sequel only by name, Bird Box, Barcelona, with a full Spanish cast. It's very interesting. So if any fans of Bird Box, that weird film from ages ago, there's a sequel for you. It'll come to Netflix on Friday.
Weird. But it's not the original cast?
No, not anyone.
The original cast was...
That one.
What's her name?
Yeah, that's the one. Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, none of them
Crazy.
are returning. It's a full new cast. Which is interesting.
Bizarre.
And that's all the content. I really need to do a pee. So that's all that we've got to do here. Don't drink a whole can of bubbly during a podcast, I guess. The boobs will make you pee.
Boobs make you pee.
Boobs make you pee. And all those other kind of cool facts that you find here only.
What a way to end.
Yeah.
Boobs make you pee. Games aren't art. Competition is fine. Cheating is not.
And Paige Freshwater writes weird articles. Until the next time, I have been Will.
Been Josh.
Bye! Oh. Good. Oh. I didn't really like